Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Cancer is one of the worst possible diseases and it's galloping up. And whenever something new comes up, it gives more hope to the people who are suffering from this agonizing disease. And now the researchers from Max Planck Institute in Germany they have developed a new method to kill cancer cells. Well, cancer cells have been killed earlier and yet they keep on mutating. But according to the institute, the new method will leave all healthy cells unharmed. What they have done is they have engineered molecular fibers programmed to respond to unique acidic qualities of cancer cells. The cancer cells are primarily acidic and their unique quality is that they interact with each other and then there is a geometrical progression. So the new system, when it spots cancer cells, the fibers would band together inside the cancer cell and then destroy the tumor. It's like a Trojan horse. You send your secret agents in the enemy's territory, and when the time comes, they destroy the enemy from within. So, this is what they want to do. According to the researchers, this kind of targeted therapy would reduce results which are less harmful than the traditional treatments like radiation and chemotherapy. And chemotherapy and radiation are really worse than the disease itself. The lab results are very, very promising, but the method is now being done, practiced on animals and humans. You see, what happens is that the cancers grow in acidic environment, more acidic than in useful for the normal tissue, and much more highly reactive oxidative molecules are found within the cancer cells. So the team has created these fibers that would be introduced to the patient's body, entering both healthy and cancer cells. But the fibers are made up of sequences of peptides that cleave together and connect different patterns based on the environment they encounter. If it's an acidic environment, they will explode from within. If it's alkaline, they will just leave the healthy cells. But the moment the cells turn acidic, these fibers will become lethal, deadly, and they have a web-like structure inside the cell itself. They are stable enough to deform the cell, to destroy it, and it's like a remote trigger implosion in the cells. Let's see how far this apparently very revolutionary therapy is successful. And then, we have been priding ourselves, human beings, that we live on planet where there's life. And there's no other planet on which there is life. That gave us a sense of endowment, a sense of being better. Not that it had anything to do with our human capability, but we were thinking that Earth is the only planet sustaining life. Maybe not any longer. The scientists have discovered very exciting signs of possible presence of life in other planets. I'm referring to the planet Venus. The atmosphere of the Venus, according to the scientists, contains traces of phosphine gas. And this gas on Earth we call living organism. And this news came just Monday, but it provides a very fresh insight into the conditions of the planetary neighbor Venus. Conditions on Venus have always been described by the scientists as hellish, with daytime temperature hot, 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 and atmosphere comprised entirely of carbon dioxide. So when the atmosphere is entirely of carbon dioxide, how is it possible for life to exist? But yet the traces of fossil gas, termed living organism here on the earth, have been found. You see, the team of experts used telescopes in Hawaii and Chile's Atacama Desert to observe a cloud deck. This cloud deck was 60 kilometers from the surface of the planet. And in the cloud, they detected traces of phosphine. Phosphine is a flammable gas on Earth, and that inflammable gas occurs from the organic matter. Organic matter means living organism. So the team stressed that the presence of phosphine is a clear sign of the presence of life on the planet Venus. Now, what sort of life is it? Is it just in the shape of cells? Is it amebia? Is it marine life, aquatic life? Is it in the shape of lichens that cling to the trees? Is it vegetable life? Is it a pulsating animal life? Nobody is sure. But life is definitely there. And the clouds swirling around the boiling surface are highly acidic and they destroy phosphine very quickly. So the living organization is there and is destroyed. But then the research does show that something is creating that living structure. And that's a positive sign. Now, whether that life is intelligent, whether the human beings would be able to communicate with it, whether they would be able to comprehend the subtleties of the complexity of that human life or not, is something not known. But definitely one thing is there, as the scientists say, that there is an evidence of anomalous and unexplained chemistry on Venus. Alan Duffy, an astronomer from Swinburne University, and the lead scientist of the Royal Institute of Australia, according to him, this is the most exciting sign of possible life on any planet beyond Earth. And now, something very interesting. We human beings have a very, very curious habit. And that habit is that we more often than not ignore the real good things. And that's a tragedy. You'll be thinking, how so? The tragedy is that we ignore certain parts of food as useless. All of you, or most of you, would be fond of corn, eating corn, whether you eat it as corn cobs or you eat it as a baby corn. And then, when you pick up corn, you remove those silky threads, silky hair. and throw them. Normally, we also throw them. But are you aware that this silky, very soft hair of the corn is highly nutritious, edible, and as a matter of fact, it has more fiber content, more nutritious value, and there are a lot of benefits of eating this. And I'm reminded of an interesting incident. My wife used to grow rockberries when we were in Israel, and we used to eat them. And one day, a Chinese doctor, a friend of mine, who was treating me for acupuncture and other things, came, and he saw those rockberries, and he said, "Well, what do you do with the coverings of the berries? The berries are surrounded by the leaves." He said, "We throw them as a." He says, "Well, in China, according to Chinese medicine, these leaves are gems, the sure treatment for flu, bad cold, bronchitis, and any respiratory disease." Well, we were amazed. And next time we had bad cold, my wife brewed a tea of those leaves. And lo, I was perfectly okay. So that those leaves, which were supposed to be garbage, are in fact a sure treatment for bad cold, for sinus, for any respiratory disease. And now coming to the corn silk, the same thing is there. These silky hair, when you buy corn cobs, you always throw them. Normally they are 10 to 20 centimeter long. The color ranges from brown to yellow, greenish as well. And there are a lot of health benefits, as I said, of these. The only thing is that we don't use it. And we don't use it because we are not aware of the use. According to the scientists, as the name suggests, these are highly useful because they give birth to the corns. And they are not just kernel. And according to the traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, they are the ideal treatment for various diseases. There was a Chinese physician, La Mo, in 18th century, who said that this is something which must not be destroyed. They are full of vitamins, carbohydrates, calcium, magnesium, and sodium. And they are volatiles. They have got a lot of alkaloids, sapios, tannins, citrols, stigmatols. They are highly nutrient and lend medicinal and health properties and can be used for various ailments. Now, what are those ailments which can be treated? A, it controls hypertension. Amazed. If you are suffering from high blood pressure, this medicine, which has been used with the Chinese and the native Indian American Indians, has been used for centuries. And now 567 researches have been done, and they say that these silky hair are immediately effective in lowering your blood pressure. And you know that blood pressure is one of the worst diseases haunting this world. Second, they are extremely used for diabetes. They say the ingestion of these corn silk controls hyperglycemia by increasing insulin production by the pancreas, and it also helps recover injured B cells of pancreas where the insulin is produced. Thirdly, kidney health. Your urinary system comprising kidneys, bladder, pancreas, of course, for the diabetes. They are used and they can treat your cyst, kidney stones, prostate problem, and urinary infection. Kidney. And then it is immunity boosting. They have got flavonoids, antioxidants, and these are being the major components help you build up your immunity. And then people are fond of weight management. So they are ideal for weight management. They break down fat cells and help you reduce weight, leading to better health. So this is extremely useful and we don't use it. So next time you buy corn cobs, start using them. Don't throw them. And now a small nugget of knowledge. We know that honey is extremely good, antibacterial, antimicrobial, wounds, bad throat, weight management, sugar, anything, you use it. And Manuka honey is supposed to be the best. But do you know which is the most expensive honey in the world? The most expensive honey costs as much as a small car. The present rate of that honey is about $7,000 per kilogram, US dollars. This is Elvish honey. It's produced only in Turkey, and the bees that produce it on the walls of the cave. In a cave they go, and the cave is 1,800 meters deep. It's in northeast Turkey, Serker Valley, Artvin city, and in that cave only, is this honey produced. Naturally, they could recover only 18 kilograms of honey, which was plastered on the spherical walls, and the first kilogram was sold at about $70,000 for a kilogram. Now the rate going is, as I said, about $6,000 a kilogram. This is the costliest honey in the world. And as I said, this is supposed to be an elixir of life. They say it cures practically everything. They say it, whether it does or not, we don't know. But we know definitely one thing that this is the costliest honey. Elvis honey from Turkey. So, what do you think of these nuggets of knowledge? Do they widen the horizon? Of course they do. So, we meet next week again on this very subject. Thank you.